Hey guys, this is Sarah with the Mama Boss, where we help women launch and grow their businesses. It's so rewarding to be an entrepreneur and to also help other entrepreneurs grow their businesses, be successful. But over the years, it's definitely not always been easy, fun, or lucrative, right? And at the end of the day, that's all any of us want, is to have a fun, easy, enjoyable, lucrative business. So how do we get there? Well, what I found after my first probably decade in business and beating my head against the wall is we really have to give ourselves rules for life, for living our lives, because you're a go-getter. You're a total badass. I know that because you're watching this, right? You're someone who shows up every day, no matter how you feel, and you kick ass, you take names, and then you go home and you fall asleep on the couch while dinner's cooking, right? If you're, and I know this is the reality for a lot of business owners today is we're burning the candle at both ends. We're giving everything we have to our business and leaving nothing left for ourselves or our families. So what I found to be massive in helping transform my life and my relationship with my business and even my family was giving myself some rules to live by, some things that I do every single day and I follow to a T. Because if you're like me, you hate following other people's rules, but you do really well with having your own set boundaries and following your own rules. You're just disciplined like that. You have to be disciplined to experience any level of success in business, right? So when it comes to like setting rules and giving yourself boundaries while building your business, it really can determine how strong your relationships are, how much time you have, how much joy you have in life. And I don't know about you, I started a business because I wanted to have more life experiences. I wanted to have more time. I wanted to have more flexibility. I wanted to have more finances. I wanted to have all of these things. But what I ran into time after time after time was I wasn't getting any of that. I was just diving into the business. I was giving everything I had to my business, and my health started to suffer and my relationships started to suffer. And it was a hot freaking mess. And it wasn't until I realized that, girl, you have to give yourself some rules or you're going to continue to burn the candle at both ends and you're not going to be around long enough and your family's not going to be around long enough for you to actually enjoy the fruits of your labor. So when you're building a business, I recommend doing it from the very beginning where you give yourself boundaries. So what are your work hours? Because for a lot of entrepreneurs, it's really easy for us to work 18, 20 hours a day because we're all fed the lie of hustle, hustle, hustle. It's just a lie. Like, it doesn't really matter how many hours you work. It's what you're doing with the hours that you do work, right? And that's really where we help women most, is we help them to get more efficient and effective with their time. And it really helps to blossom their business and increase the value of their relationships around them. So you don't have spouses that are frustrated with you because they never see you, or kids who are like, are you my mommy, right? Like, if you're in business, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's also really important to give yourself boundaries as far as self-care. And self-care is something that's really token these days. It's a very token term. It's very simplified. But when I think of self-care as an entrepreneur, I think about movement. I think about hydrating. I think about feeding myself like an adult, right? And even some spiritual practices. So that could be like every day I go exercise and I calendar it all. It's in my planner. Everyone knows don't schedule anything over my workout, right? So, and your workout can be anything from lifting weights to yoga to just going for a walk, but taking time to move and let those creative juices flow and get some oxygen going and get your muscles moving. So good for you. Also making sure you're hydrating, right? Because as entrepreneurs, we gotta drink the water. You just got to drink the water, my friends. And when I say the water, I mean actual water. Drink water. You need to be hydrated to be at your best, mentally, emotionally, physically. You don't want to be chronically dehydrated, because that leads to a whole nother slew of issues. And as the entrepreneur, you are the most important person in your business, period, end of story. And then feeding yourself. As you're growing your business, it can be really, really easy to forget to eat, to overeat when you finally do eat, to only eat what's convenient and available, because your brain is somewhere else. So whether you subscribe to a meal planning service, or you plan your meals, or you have someone take care of that for you, like making sure that you eat, scheduling your meals, you have to make sure that you are feeding yourself. Have you ever noticed, and this is something that is kind of funny actually, the wealthiest people, my friends, they do cook. They cook. And most of them eat at home. They're not wasting their money. They're not wasting their time eating out. Most wealthy people eat at home. They cook and eat at home, and they keep it simple, right? It doesn't have to be a gourmet meal every time you eat. It can be, a nice chicken breast that's been marinated and grilled up over a bed of lettuce. It doesn't have to be complicated. So making sure that you are feeding yourself, you are hydrating, and you are moving your body are crucial. And for me, I also like to add in journaling, because it just helps me to gain perspective and work through any of the issues of the day, because otherwise I have a tendency to spin, right? I'll capture something that bothers me and just spin on it. And then that's all I think about for days and days and days. And I bet you're probably much the same. So journaling, I found, is very, very helpful for that. Also sleep, making sure you're getting enough sleep. When do you go to bed? Most entrepreneurs or people in general, they set a wake up time, but they don't set a bedtime. The best thing you can do for yourself is give yourself a hard bedtime and stick to it. And then wake up when you're done sleeping, if you have that luxury, which as an entrepreneur, you likely do, unless your business and working hours are completely a disaster. And I've been there, right? Where you're getting up at 3 o'clock in the morning and getting home at 8:30 and going to bed at 10. Let's talk about a disaster with that. So it's also really getting strict about your work hours and what you're doing in those hours. It's going to be huge for how successful you are and how you feel in general about your life. Another area that I think is really important to talk about as far as giving yourself rules as an entrepreneur is your tech time. How long are you on your phone? How often are you on your phone? And when do you put the dang thing away? Same with your computer. I can tell you that when I decided to put my phone away when I got home at night and not pick it up again until I was leaving the house, everything changed. I was suddenly able to be present with my kids and my husband and not feel so distracted all the time, which is huge for so many of us, right? We're constantly distracted. We've constantly got things flying at us. Don't hesitate to turn off your phone and put it away when you get home at night, because there is nothing that's going to happen between when you put your phone away and when you get up the next morning that you can't handle the next day. There's just nothing. So there aren't any emergencies that are going to need your attention within the next 20, 30 minutes to 4 hours. Because typically, if you're home, there's not much you could do about it anyways, because everyone else is home too. So those are my rules for being an entrepreneur and living the entrepreneurial lifestyle that we all live, who are watching this, right? And you really want to have impact, but you can't have impact just to the world. I think we also want to make an impact to our families, right? I mean, you can impact just the world, but we get into business, especially as women, because we want to have better outcomes for the world around us as well as our families. And if you wake up one morning, 10 years down the road, and you look around after all these years of hustle, and there's nobody there, what's it all for? So chew on that, but give yourself some rules for living and building a business. It will help your business, it will help you, and it will help your relationships.